I have a big problem with my back deck. It's the egress from my downstairs. We've got big cracks here on all three of my walls. Now, I wasn't sure how this happened, so I brought in an expert.
What happened is they backfilled this and they didn't put a French drain in. So what happens is in the wintertime your soil doesn't drain all the water, so that lets the frost to get in and it'll heave it. So over the years, this is what happens with no drainage.
All right, you said no French drain. What does that mean? There's just dirt back here then?
Yes. So what we're going to do is dig this behind the wall. We're going to put a pipe in, stones, and cover it with a silt fence, and then cover that back up with the rest of the stones, and then soil over top.
Are we looking down here with the rock, or are we going all the way up?
We're going to go probably within the top block.
That's all rock?
That's all
stone.
the
way around?
So that's going to give you no chance of heaving, because the water can dissipate down through the ground.
I have a drain on this little patio area, so I guess are we gonna hook into that?
We're going to hook into that, which daylights out in the front yard. So all the water that collects here after we're done is going to
go right to the yard.
Yes.
Then I shouldn't have this again.
No.
I got one bid, in fact, that was for $13,000 to replace not only redo the wall but put new block in. And so what we're going to try to do today is use the same block, right, Randy?
Yes.
The same block, and cut through the bad parts, replace the blocks that are split, and then try to push this out. Is that our plan?
Yes. We're going to try to push this wall back where it's supposed to be, and it's going to save Mike a lot of money.
So if this doesn't work, what does that mean?
Then we're going to tear down and relay.
All right, the secret to a successful project is to have friends that have big tools. And that's what we have here. It's Craig Seckler. He's got a backhoe, Kubota. And Randy, of course, has the expertise and the know-how to get this thing done. So guys, what's your plan? Logistically, where do we put the dirt, the rocks? The rocks are going to be coming. What are we going to do here? What was your plan? I heard you talking about it a couple minutes ago.
We're basically going to have 3 piles of soil that we dig out behind the wall. We'll keep them out of the road, so when we're done digging that we can get in there with the pipe and the stone, and then the soil is going to go back over top of the stone.
I made a call to the Utility Notification Center at 811, it's a free service, and they came out to my property and marked where the electric and cable TV cables ran onto my property, which was directly underneath the patio. My water comes in on the other side of the house, and I don't have a gas line. No worries there. This is a critical step in your home repair. If you damage utility lines on your property because of negligence, you're in danger of being fined and having to pay for their repair to the damage you've done. And if your negligence affects your neighbors, well, that's an additional headache. Call 811 before you do any significant digging on your property. The backhoe made quick work of the dig. Craig was able to carve out a trough around the block that was wide enough for us to climb in to lay the drainage pipe, but not so wide as to cause unnecessary additional work. He was very careful to use finesse around the area we knew the cables lay. We had no problems with them, as we found that they were buried underneath the original concrete pad, so they really weren't in play. We put the excavated dirt into orderly piles so we could work easily around them, and the piles were small enough to do little damage to my yard. The next step was critical in our plan. We hoped to push back the walls to the point where they were once again straight. Without the weight of the packed dirt pushing it in, it was our hope that the wall would shift if given enough pressure back. We used an adjustable FHA building column to do the work. They had the strength to hold up entire floors. We thought the column could move the wall if positioned correctly and gradually extended. If this worked, we could proceed with our cost-effective plan to fix the wall. If not, we were going to tear down the walls and start from scratch. Luckily, the column worked.
We got pressure on both walls, and we pushed them back out to where they're supposed to be. And when we get down to the bottom, we're going to pin with rebar so this problem can't happen again.
Once we had the walls straightened, we could move on to putting in the critical pipe for our French drain. Obviously, we had to ensure that the pipe went downhill from the north-facing wall so that it could join into the existing downspout drain pipe. A simple T-connector was all it took and we were in business. We had the slope of about 10 inches from the top section of the wall down to the joint we made to the existing pipe. Gravity could do its work. The most difficult part of the job came next. laying in the new cement blocks. This took a great deal of time and working with various concrete cutting tools. I recommend getting the right tools for the job. Rent or borrow them if you need to. They are too expensive to buy and you might never have use for them again. We chipped and cut the block free and then delicately put the new blocks into place. We put rebar into the areas that showed the problem cracks to hopefully deflect pressure from these vulnerable spots. Mixing concrete, carrying block, and deftly placing them into tightly configured places is tough work. I have great respect for professional masons. Once we had the new block in place, my wall looked straight on all three sides. Next came the 2B stone that would serve as the sieve to keep the water away from the wall and filter downward to the drainage pipe. We used 15 tons of this stone to fill in the ditches. Most of it had to be shoveled in by hand due to the logistics of the job site. It was arduous work. I recommend getting help for this stage of the project. We put the silt fence onto the stones and finally covered the trenches with dirt. Working with the dirt was also done by hand, another round of back-breaking toil. Then Craig returned with his backhoe and we cleared away the remaining dirt to dump it off-site. I did some simple repair work on my grass and finally finished the job. Having this project finished is a big load off my mind. This problem had to be fixed. If not, the wall would have crumbled into the patio area and the repair cost would have been very, very high. Now my wall is straight and the problem has been solved so that I shouldn't have issues with this patio again. Had the builder put in a French drain during the original construction of this wall, I would not have had to do this difficult repair. Hopefully this video can help others decide whether or not to take on a project this challenging. Having qualified help is critical. Good luck.